Well, thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here today with you. And certainly, congratulations to Chris and the whole committee, and to you for the 75th annual meeting. That's amazing. Certainly, also like to thank all the sponsors of the event. Without sponsors, none of these things would be possible. So really grateful for that. And thank you for your time. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share a couple thoughts with you about what we're doing here at the Institutes to serve you. Very much looking forward to doing that. I'm sure the committee, when they were planning the 75th anniversary last year, probably didn't think that this is the way it was going to turn out. So certainly, probably like you and all your businesses, we at the Institutes have been very impacted by COVID, and I'm sure you have as well. With that being said, there are long cycle things that we've been making, changes that we've been making. And over the years, I've had the great opportunity to work with a lot of great leaders at the Society. I know Steve and Jill are on the call today, and certainly grateful for the opportunity to work with them over the years. And really with the input from many members of the Society, we've really tried to continue to change our organization, as every organization must. The Institute is about 111 years old. So if we haven't changed with the times, if we haven't demonstrated that ability, we would have been gone long ago. So I work with a really great group of people. And we've had, as I mentioned, changes that we've been implementing over time. COVID's accelerated a couple of those, and I'll talk a little bit about those. But I think you'll continue to see us try to make sure that we evolve to meet your needs. We're both the Institutes and the Societies are not-for-profits. Our goal is to help you do your job better. And that's what we get up every day and try to make sure we do. So I'm going to touch on the CPCU program a little bit, some changes. I'll talk a little bit about some of the things we're doing to try to make it easier for folks to get knowledge from us after you've gotten your CPCU. I'll briefly touch on CE for CPCU, which is just a reporting requirement for something that we all agreed to do when we took the ethics code, ethics pledge. And then I'll touch on some other things the Institutes are doing. In a changing industry, we're making a lot of changes, including affiliations, acquisitions, that sort of thing. So let me just talk a little bit about the CPCU program. I certainly appreciate the fact that all of you have completed the program and certainly spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and dedication to get that done. And we continue to see that. So what we constantly do is try to update it. And we update it really on two basic ways. One is the content and the other is how we deliver it. So let me first go to the content. I think what we're seeing in our industry and in a lot of industries is really the rise of data, right? Big data and data analytics. So we built a new program, actually, the Associates in Insurance Data Analytics. And we used part of that content and some of the research that we discovered during the construction of that program to update CPCU as we always do. So we've woven data and analytics and modeling throughout the CPCU designation. You'll continue to see us do that. It's not really making models per se, but we as consumers of the output of models, what does it mean and how do we use them? So you'll see us continue to do that. I think that's a very important trend in our industry. With the rise of data, then we get more analytics and we can be more proactive. So and that to me kind of equates to risk management. So let's stop a loss before it happens. Losses will always happen, but a policyholder, I believe most, including me, would generally not like to have a loss. And I think our industry has an important role to play to make people aware of all the different risks they face. We can insure them and help them avoid the loss in the first place. So risk management and those techniques, I think, are going to become increasingly important, driven by data, and our ability to convey those ideas to new people and to sort of brush people up on what's going on is increasingly important. So we've made more risk management education available and risk management woven through the program. So that is consistent, as I said, with the way that we see the industry is going. I don't think that'll be a big surprise to any of you. You're all leaders and experts in the industry. And then we'll continue to look at other content that we need to update. One of the great things for us, I think, is that we can update content much more quickly now. So, and one of the ways we do that is maybe you took the gray books or the blue books. But what we've done is we've shifted CPCU so that while we've always produced textbooks and then online versions, but textbook was always first, now we flipped that. So now it's, we design for online, and then we can produce some study materials if we have to. That is paper materials. This has been very successful. We did this in our ARM program last year, and people love it. And if you really think about it, well, we've had online classes, self-study online classes for 12 or 13 years, and they've been pretty good. But when we make that flip, we get to use a lot more techniques and materials and content and delivery mechanisms than we used to in the past. And that really maps and tracks with how people learn today. I mean, you know, I have 5 kids and they're all out of college now, but even then, 3, 4, 5 years ago, they were half their classes were online. So it's a much more rich experience, and we've gotten very good feedback on that. Perhaps some of you have been in some of our videos. There's a lot of video testimonials by industry people. We've also made it more application oriented. So it's always been a difficult course of study, and that continues. But facts are becoming increasingly free. You can look almost anything up. And while we've always had application, we've really kind of ramped that up so that people that take it now understand, well, here's the facts, but that's a baseline. And what do I do with those facts? And what do they mean? And how do I apply them? Again, that's always been the case when you and I took the program, but we've kind of upped the level of that a little bit. So new content, new delivery. One of the things that we've been impacted by COVID is how we deliver our exams. And this is a big challenge for us. And because, we cannot let the rigor of the exams or the difficulty of the exams drop at all. And we haven't. We don't want to cheapen the CPCU. It's difficult to get, not impossible. It's difficult, and it should be. You should have to master a body of knowledge. You should be an expert. Shouldn't be that everybody, frankly, can get it. And that the people that do get it, like you, are truly knowledgeable and leaders. So, however, COVID came along. And as you may recall, we generally tested either at a professional testing center, a Prometric center, or at a company site. Well, both of those were closed. So we went to online exams. And I'm happy to say that our pass ratios are roughly the same. In fact, a little bit more difficult in some exams now. We've been able to go through a series of steps to make sure that the security is there, and we have future steps coming out. But what it really did is it makes these exams more accessible. Years and years and years ago, perhaps like you, I took the exams where I went in, sat at a desk with a whole bunch of people and wrote in a blue book. Years ago, we went away from that so that it could be accessible to more people. And again, the whole time, we just made sure the pass ratio and the materials were difficult, not impossible, but difficult, and we've maintained that thread. So in this latest iteration, I think we continue to make sure that although you can take the exam almost, well, within a testing window, anytime within that testing window that you're comfortable with, in a browser, online, it's really been, I think, a good thing, and students certainly love it. So that's been a big change for us. Another big change has been this. So I don't know if you know, but the institutes in the society and all of our affiliates, which I'll talk about in a second, we had about 200 meetings a year, and physical meetings, face-to-face meetings. And after March, every one of those went virtual. So that was a big challenge to us. Again, I work with a great group of people. We're able to have this kind of meeting. And for us, it's been really good because it's been a learning experience. So hopefully we continue to add value to you, certainly try to find more and better ways of doing that. Open to all ideas. If you have some suggestions, please send me an email, miller@theinstitutes.org. And very happy, as basically serving you for any ideas you might have on how to make virtual more appealing and of greater value to you. I think at some point physical meetings come back. Tough to see, maybe not in the first quarter of next year, I don't think. Maybe beyond that, I'm not sure, depending on how the medical situation goes. But the exciting thing for me is now we have another tool in our toolkit to serve you. So, we can sit and go, wow, you know what? For a meeting in 2023, a physical meeting might make sense, or maybe a virtual meeting, or maybe a combination. So that's very exciting for us as we continue to seek different ways to serve you. Another thing we've done, when we actually did this about 4 years ago, was CE for CPCU. So again, I'll remind us, this is not a new requirement in terms of the education. When we signed up for CPCU, we all made the pledge that we would stay current and that we would make sure that we were educating ourselves. So the CE for CPCU program was adopted about 4 years ago. And there was a 4-year window sort of for how we could, for people who already had the designation. So that comes up at the end of this year. All we're asking you to do is report what you've agreed to do. And that's really what this is all about. So I think it's a good program. You can get education from a variety of sources. That was a big deal that we wanted to make sure we did. It's not just from the institutes or the society. It could be from a bunch of different places, whatever best suits you. If you have a license, if you're that all counts, all the CE for that. Just let us know what you're doing. So we're ramping up awareness of that. We had done a big program a couple of years ago and ramping it up. I'm happy to say that we introduced digital badges, and just over 4,000 people have now gotten a digital badge saying that they're a CPCU in good standing. There's a couple of kinks. I think we probably have to work through the program, but so far people, we've been getting pretty good feedback on it. As well as some concerns and some suggestions. So we're taking all those suggestions and absorbing them and seeing how we can do a better job. If you haven't filed that, you can go to our website and file that. So the CPCU program will continue to evolve. We have other changes that we're going to make going forward, and not quite ready to make that announcement, frankly, right now. But it's continued to make it the quality program, and we think the premier designation, that true leaders such as yourself get in our industry. Let me just brief in my remaining time, let me just briefly touch on some of the other things that we're doing that we're excited about. The institutes, as I say, it's not your father's institutes. So we've done several, what we call affiliations in our world. We're a not-for-profit, as I said. So they kind of join forces, and we end up managing some of these organizations. So, we manage some, and then we purchase the educational pieces of others. So you may have seen a couple of years ago, we purchased CLM, Claims Litigation Management. That's an association, basically has about 45,000 people. And then some other things we've done just in the last year. We bought Risk and Insurance Magazine. So again, meant to serve you. So if you need, what we're trying to do is get knowledge in different formats. So a magazine, a webinar, a seminar, through an association, through networking, through a designation, right? Any way that you need it. And education delivered in all those ways. For people interested in obviously in risk management and insurance. So I have Risk and Insurance Magazine. We also have the National Ergonomics Conference, picked up the National Workers' Comp and Disability Conference, and a couple others. And probably the middle of next month or so, we'll complete our affiliation with the III. So the III, the Insurance Information Institutes, will come under the Institute's umbrella. So again, all this to say, what we're really seeking to do is to try to provide you with the knowledge that you need in order to get your job done. One other thing I'm very excited about is we've really upped our micro learning capabilities. So oftentimes people will come to us if you manage a call center and say, I have people that need education, but they have a very short amount of time to get that. So now we can provide 6-minute education snippets or longer, or match them up. It's a Lego set. So again, those are really becoming quite popular. Again, you can go to our website if you're interested to look at those. So beyond that, very excited about the future. I continue to love this industry. I congratulate you for, I think for the work you do every day. I think, our industry does great things. I think we help people certainly provide stability in this time of change, and continue to work through the various things, be they hurricanes, wildfires, COVID or whatever. And then our pledge to you is that we'll continue to change along with you and to try to make sure that we prepare you as best we know how, and the folks you work with to meet the ongoing needs of society and of our industry. So I think this is an exciting time. It's certainly an exciting time for us, but it's sort of grounded in our tradition. And for 110 years, we've served people interested in risk management and insurance like yourself. And we'll continue to do that as the very best we can. So with that, thank you very much. And again, congratulations. Just having this meeting in this year is actually a remarkable accomplishment, and a 75th meeting even more so. So thank you for all the work you do. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you and to serve you. And as I said, I congratulate you and all your colleagues and the committee, and thank the sponsor. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Chris. And again, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete. Can people hear me? Excellent. Yeah. Pete, we appreciate your comments. We feel like hearing about recent developments and maybe some of your thoughts about the future, it's especially valuable to hear it from, dare I say it, the horse's mouth, to be able to understand the thinking and the rationale. And I did have one quick question. Some of the people have noted in the chat that they miss the in-person meetings. Are there any thoughts that those will return at some point, or is the Institute's going to go all virtual?
I miss them too. So no, I hope that that we go back to in-person meetings. I think there's a value of talking to people that's very difficult. And my background's IT, so I like technology as much as anybody else. But I think for a while, we're going to be driven by sort of government mandates. What I am excited about is that, I think physical meetings, face-to-face meetings will come back. As I said, I think there's huge value to that. But I think we have options now. So I don't see in-person meetings going away. Not in my opinion, because it's just, this still is a people business and a relationship business, at least at some level, and more so in parts maybe than others. But so no, I wouldn't say, at least for us, in-person meetings are not going to go away. I just don't know how fast they're going to come back. And I think developing a virtual capability has helped us. We can also say that now, instead of defaulting to a small personal meeting of 20 people, well, maybe we do that one virtually. So, those are the kind of things. But I hope Into Risk next year. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And hope that'll be a in-person meeting for sure.
Terrific, Pete. Thanks again. We've wanted to have you at our in-person meeting, but this makes it possible to have you weigh in on the most recent developments. Have a great day. So that leads us to our next panel,